Greetings everyone and welcome to this X-Plane 11 video. So today we are going to fly a plane that I haven't flown that much in the last couple of weeks, actually months. And I have no idea why, because it's one of the best and also one of the best looking in X-Plane 11. The Rotate MD80, the Maddog. Fantastic plane, really beautiful. The detail on this is just lovely. And rotatesim is also working on the MD11 for a couple of years now. But lately they have published a work in progress video on their YouTube channel. And go ahead, if you haven't seen it already, check it out because it's fantastic and I can't wait to get my hands on that one. But today we are going to fly the MD88 from Hamburg, Germany to Riga, Latvia. The weather is kind of mild wintry with real weather. Everywhere else in Europe there is a major thunderstorm happening, so probably not a great idea to fly somewhere else with hail and everything, but this looked like a fun route to fly. It's going to be around 2 hours, 1.5 hours of airtime, so let's get going. Okay, let's see if I can still remember how to prepare this plane for departure. And in the meantime I got a nice cold Pilsner in my hand. In real life that's a big no, but here we can enjoy a cold one and go flying. So battery. Get that DC. Yep, we got a bunch of messages and probably should connect the GPU. Here we have a couple of commands, but let's use this notebook or this ground operations page. Forward door and also get the cargo doors open. Nice. And external power available. We got that blue light and connect it. Galley power on. And let's check out the voltage, frequency. And emergency exit lights armed. Get those guys to auto. Rat probe and then back to captain. Windshield anti-ice. Cancel that master caution. Position lights on. Nice. Yeah, my PC is struggling right now with the clouds, the extra scenery, and also the 4K textures. CDUs, PFD, ND, and also on the first officer side. And go up here. IRSs should be, or the switches, yeah. Put them to nav. And we can begin to put in data in the CDU. And the 88 cycle 2101, revision 1, actual, and GPS position. That's the more accurate one. And we are going to Riga, VRA. Get the 80s actually. One, 2, 4, 3, 2, 5.
Hamburg Helmut Schmidt Information India. 800 Zulu weather. Wind 070 at 6, visibility 10, snow. Sky conditions 1500 few, 3800 overcast, temperature -6, dew point -9. Altimeter 29.
Alright, we do have a little bit of snow. Can't see it right now, but probably on the runway. And we have India. Active runway is 05 today, so departure. Get the AVI tab with the flight plan loaded into it. Take this SID and put in quickly flight plan. We're going to fly next to Northern Germany, Denmark, Poland, all the way up to the Baltic states and land in Riga. Pretty straightforward. Array M865. It's a little bit different procedure than on an A320, but similar to a 737 CDU here in the MD88. And that's the waypoint that's going to bring us to our star. Score 5C, arrival ILS36, and there we go, 5C. Let's check out the transition, should be somewhere down here. Yeah, looks like Pushback, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's what we're going to choose. And that's our route. Execute. Oh yeah, we have to wait a little bit longer. In the meantime, we can probably load the plane up. Yeah, they are still aligning. Doesn't show me how much time left. Do the other stuff in the meantime. Now on SimBrief, I cannot really do a cost index, a climb profile or cruise profile for the MD88, but we're going to fly with between 20 and 40. So fuel 9,172 kilograms. Payload. Try to match this data as closely as I can, although there's going to be a slight difference between SimBrief and this actual rotate loading screen. And let's see, passengers. That's a little bit below 153, but total payload, maybe I'm going to increase it a little bit. And zero fuel weight 51.6. SimBrief shows 52.6. Trip fuel 4,337. Yeah, let's put that in. And make sure we are using kilograms on the plan and also here on the page as well. Well, let's increase that a little bit. Total payload. Yeah, let's go with that data, 51.6. Oh well. Gross weight, 60.8. That's a little bit below the SimBrief plan, but I think this should be fine here. And start the loading process. We can also expedite everything. Cargo is the what takes the longest. I think the alignment phase is already over for the IRSs, so everything is loaded up. Yep. We have IRS alignment. Actually, I want to go to map mode. Arc mode, that's for the Airbus. And execute the flight plan. And check out the legs page. There is a discontinuity. Well, let's check out the plan mode. Well, looks alright to me. There is the discontinuity. Yeah, before we line up with the runway, I probably can go and fill CI 36 right there. And that should do it. Now, what else can we do? Yep, yaw dampeners to on. And soon we can get the APU going as well. We need the starting pumps actually, but we can switch on the fuel tanks. Here we go. And APU is starting. And get those doors quickly. Man, this plane looks awesome. Hope the MD11 is going to be the same quality. Although it did take some time to get this plane to be better, actually. Initially it was not really the best. Flying characteristics were a lot different than the actual MD80, according to real-life pilots. So, cost index is going to be 21. Reserve doesn't really matter. Let's see. Cruising altitude, I think it's 330, flight level 330, yep. And I think we can just click on these line select keys, yep. And we got everything. And outside air temperature, you can just click on that as well. CG 21. And here we can also set the trim, CG 21, and it's going to be a flap 15. Takeoff as usual. Zero fuel weight 51.6. No, so set it right there, or we have to set it right there. 51.6, and gross weight 60.6. There is 60.8, so let's meet it in the middle. well, close enough. And now we can also set the trim to line up with that green on the left side of the trim, long trim handle. Stabilizer motion. Just a little bit more down. Right there. So that's taken care of. Pneumatic crossfeeds. And now we can switch air supply from the APU. And the APU air also on. Check out the pressure. And soon we can also disconnect the external power. And get rid of it. So, looking good actually. Flight directors on. You can also go ahead and set the speed. I'm going to set V2 plus 20. Heading select. Let's check out in the AVI tab. Hamburg, runway 05, course 47. Well, let's put it there. Initially, we're going to go up to 5,000 feet, local transition altitude. And that's done. Anti-collision lights, yeah, we are pretty much ready for pushback. And engine start, APU is already running. FMC is done. A couple of messages, but they should they should extinguish once we started the engines. And here we have the Christmas tree. Cockpit voice recorder. And we can also do the engine fire warning test. Normally you should push those buttons with both hands or with 2 fingers. But we cannot really do that in the sim. So you have to switch the loops in order to hear the fire warning. Loop A, loop B, and APU is already running. So I think we are pretty much ready for pushback. So here we go, pushback. Now we are facing the other way, so since we are going for runway 05.
Ground to Cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
Ready as we'll ever
Ground
be.
to Cockpit. Toes driving up.
So, set TO right there. And what else? 5,000 feet. Altitude hold. Going to go with nav and VNav when the autopilot is switched on. And what happened with the speed bugs? Should have been set. Well, probably I missed something in the FMC. Oh yeah, we should execute it, and there we go. And they are set. V1, VR,
Okay,
and
all doors and
V2
hatches are closed, ready to connect. Set parking brake.
should be set already. Okay, so let's check. I'm starting the engines on this
Now
plane.
connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Takes a little bit longer than, for example, a 737 or on an A320.
Starting pushback, and you may start the engines.
Okay, so air supply off. We got pressure and ignition. Yeah, let's go with system B. Not sure about that, but should be able to start the engines with just system B. And start number 1. And N2 is climbing slowly. And there we go, waiting for 21 or 24. Around that we will throw the fuel in the mixture. Yeah, takes a little while, longer than, for example, a CFM engine on an A320. And there we go. So the engine is not smoking, just supposedly water on the taxiway or here at the airport. Oops, it doesn't look too good up close. But yeah, when there is water or snow, then we have this smoke once the engines are starting. Yeah, I'm not going to use Terramax to make the landscape wintry with snow. With these
Operation complete.
paver
Please set
airports,
parking brake.
it's not the best looking solution.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Okay, let's get a squawk code, something random. Yeah, maybe in the future I'm also going to use VATSIM or Pilot Edge when flying in the US, but it's not something that I like to invest in right now. And disconnect. Get that second engine going.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. I'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
Okay, this plane uses 4K textures, by the way, together with the clouds. Struggling a little bit with the FPS right now. But we got a good engine start on number 1 and 2. And they should already be supplying. Actually, we are still on APU power. But I think if I shut down the APU, yeah, gen and the right generator, yeah, they are working. Close these guys with the guard. And yeah, get that ignition off. I don't think we are going to need anti-ice. and also not going to fly through much precipitation. APU bleed off and get those engine bleeds. And we missed the hand signal, but anyway. Transponder. And we can set flaps 15 soon and taxi. Yeah, those messages should go away when I disengage parking brake. But yeah, we are looking good. I don't think I should use the floodlights for taxiing. And hydraulic pumps could be set to off and low. Flaps 15. Very nice. Okay, we can go ahead and taxi. The rest I will do when we are holding short at runway 05. Test the controls quickly. And we can add a little bit of power to get us going. And we still got one message, but it should go away once we have taken off, I think. Yeah, probably I should read up on this plane a little bit for the next flight. And we'll see. Oh, probably I should switch off the APU before takeoff. Don't really need it anymore. So we're just taxiing. So, we are approaching runway 05. There is a checkpoint right here, but I'm going to move up ahead to the hold short point, do a quick check and take off. Set the lights for takeoff. And also the strobe. We still have that rudder unrestricted message up there. don't know if I should do anything about that. But before takeoff we can set the auto brake to TO and arm it in case of rejected takeoff, and TARA, tilt it above, come on. And the weather radar, although I don't think it's working with the real weather connector. Not many planes like that plug-in. And let everybody know that we are taking off soon. And parking brake off. And move up slowly. Line up with the runway. We have flaps 15. Also the climb setting is set on the thrust limiter panel. With flaps 15, the plane should take off after a while on its own. If we set the trim correctly. Try to do also flap 11 takeoffs, but I always get a takeoff warning horn. So we're going to stick with the good old flap 15 takeoffs. And stop here. Let's see. Now where's the toga? Yep, push it there. And also 40% and 1. And get the auto thrust on. Or auto throttle. And here we go. EPR takeoff. And try to stay on the center line, although it's a little bit of, I don't know what it is, snow or slush or water. And here we go. Take off. The gear can come up. And we are flying. 400 feet, 500. Wow. It should be 15 degrees pitch up, but we are blasting out of here. And there we go. Climb. And now we can go autopilot. And nav track, VNAV climb, FMS EPR. Nice. Going for 5,000 feet. And get the flaps up gradually. And 10,000 feet, and after that we can probably go all the way up to 33,000. 5,000 feet is going to be the local transition altitude, and we are on our way. We're going to fly next to Denmark, Poland, and all the way up to Latvia. Get that 2992. There we go. Should have also set on the first officer side. and all the way up to 33,000 feet. Fantastic. So 10,000 feet, lights will be set to off, and here we go. Here comes the top of descent point on the nav display, so we can begin preparations for our arrival. Let's check out the approach ref page. It's going to be a flap 40, 120 knot landing, ILS runway 36, 108.10 and 358 as the course. Everything is set here, also the heading selector, and hydraulic pumps will be set to on and high once we are in range, and also the auto brakes. When the landing gear is down, I'm going to set it to minimum and arm it. And what else? Weather radar is pointing down, also the transponder and TCAS. So let everyone know we are descending soon. Oops. I wanted to check out the pressurization. Landing altitude, that's in hundreds of feet, and Riga is 35 feet on the sea level, and it looks correct. And initially we are going down to 10,000 feet and from there to 2,500, where we intercept the localizer and glide slope. And pull it out. There we go, it's armed. All we have to do now is wait for the plane on the nav display to catch the top of descent point, and the airplane will begin descending automatically. And maybe we'll need a little bit of speed brake assistance. And there it is, VNAV descent, and the throttles are moving back. And we are approaching Riga in Latvia. Fantastic detail on the wings.
Weather. Wind 050 at 9. Visibility 10. Snow. Sky conditions indefinite scattered. Temperature -9. Dew point -12. Altimeter 2991. Arriving runway 18. Departing runway 18. Advise on initial contact you have Kilo.
Alright, we have Kilo, but we have a little bit of snow as well. And we are configured to, or for ILS runway 36. Active is 18 according to the 80s, but does not make much sense because of the wind.
Riga International
We would
Airport
land with a
Kilo.
tailwind if we would land on runway 18, so I'm going to leave it.
1050.
Stay on runway 36. And here we have the flap extension speeds. If we need to, we can throw everything out and significantly slow down this plane. Alright, approaching 10,000 feet. Hydraulic pumps on and high. And pressure is increasing. There we go, 31. And pretty soon we can throw out the landing lights. They also add a little bit of drag, helps us slow down. And 2991. local QNH is set, also the cabin pressure set for landing. And the speed bugs are already set for landing as well. Going to be a flap 40, 120 knot landing. Although the approach speed is going to be 140, around that. And the weather is actually quite nice, mild winter. According to the 80s, there's a little bit of snow. I also could have used the Terramax plugin to make the landscape wintry, with snow and everything, but it's going to be a little bit snow on the runway. So most likely it's going to be a little bit contaminated, which means more than 25% of it is covered with either snow or water or slush. And let's take over and go down to 210 knots. Now this airplane can slow down pretty fast. And something is jumping around here on the nav display. FMC is struggling with that intercept point. Now let's see if it stays. Maybe I'm going to have to get rid of that one. Doesn't make much sense to turn in that big arc. But yeah, so a runway covered with snow, then probably going to have to use just manual braking. Meantime, slow down a little bit with speed brakes. So, want to use manual braking and also do a firm landing. We'll see how it goes. And that intercept point is still struggling, jumping around, so probably just get rid of it. And on the speed brakes. Alright, 3,500 feet. Well, no. Okay. Jumped to 2,500. Yeah, well, let's just delete it. And then go directly to CI-36. Get that point in there. Execute it. There we go. Looks much better now. (5,000 feet. I'm not sure if it's the local transition altitude, but already QNH is set. And extending flaps gradually. Wow, these extension speeds are crazy on this plane.
Stabilizer motion.
And slow down even more. And we got a pretty steep descent. We're going down to 2,500 minus 1,300 vertical speed. And slats and flaps are coming down nicely. So the original official active runway is 1.8, but that would have meant that we have a 13 knot tailwind, so wouldn't make much sense. That's why we are landing on the original ILS runway 36. And in that case, we are going to have a 13 knot crosswind coming from the right. And coming up on our final turn to the left. Now let's go even more. Yeah, 2000. And then we are below the glide slope as well. 185. And then at some point I'm going to extend landing gear and take over. On this plane we cannot really press the auto thrust disconnect and the autopilot disconnect buttons, unfortunately. But we are going to do a manual landing. And turning to the left. And maintaining 2000. Landing gear can come down. Nice. And there comes the localizer. Moving towards the center. Although we are staying a little bit crabbed to the right. And ILS. There we go, on the FMA. Localizer is alive. It's still in altitude hold mode, but pretty soon the glide slope indicator is beginning to move down and we are going to be on the glide slope. And slow us down even more. Yeah, we cannot really use that button, unfortunately. But yeah, landing gear is down, also flaps extended fully. Also probably should arm the auto brakes. Yeah, but anyway, we're going to use manual braking. And there's the glide slope track. And we are a little bit fast though, so I'm going to take over soon. And then do a fantastic crosswind landing. There we go, my aircraft, and moving down. Staying on that localizer and glide slope. And try to match speed. Also trim it a little bit. Yeah, unfortunately I haven't really found another way to disconnect the autopilot. That's why we got that flashing red indications right there on the FMA.
1000.
Haven't really flown that plane that much, so maybe I should read up on it a little bit in the manuals. Also got my hands on real life flight manuals of this plane, the MD80. And hopefully the MD11 is coming soon, entering beta stage. And 2 whites, 2 red. Whoops. Now we got 1 white. And back on track. Actually a little bit below the glide slope, but I don't want to cross the threshold too high. And try to maintain that speed.
200.
Also staying a little bit more crabbed to the right and try to land on the center line.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
And here we go. So there's a little bit of snow, so we want to have a firm landing. Oh, butter. I thought it's going to be more FPM. But anyway. Reverse. And also manual braking. And we can make this exit. Fantastic. Start the APU, cancel that master caution, and just look for a parking spot. Well, we got all kinds of planes here in the Baltic area. Spirit, Virgin, and just rolling. Also an American CRJ or Embraer, Alaska Airlines. And the APU is starting slowly. So this was once again a really fun flight, and probably next time going to fly with another plane. Maybe a good old IXCG 737 or a Zibo 737. I will see. In the last couple of months I only flew with the A319 and A321 from Tollis, especially the Neo, so probably it's a good idea to get back into these more classic planes and then try to get that parking position. It looks a little bit off. So try to straighten it out. Alright, how are we looking? Probably a little bit off, but parking brake. That's not too bad. Oops, should have switched those lights off already. And APU, what else? And the collision lights off, and position light can stay on. Yeah, auto brakes did not arm them at all. And here we go, fuel tanks are still on, and back to off, and shut down the engines. Alright, thank you for watching. I hope you had fun as much as I did during this flight, and I'll see you in the next one.